Hey guys, welcome back and thank you for hanging out today. So today I have a Bdellium Tools eye makeup brushes video, review, comparison, and all that good stuff. And yeah, I have quite a few, so this video might be kind of long, so grab a snack. If you're not familiar, months back I did do part 1 of this video, or the face brush portion, so I will link that down below if you haven't checked it out. Cut to my bottom line, I love Bdellium Tools. I think that they are just amazing quality brushes. Not only that, but for the price, like, you just cannot beat it. They are, in my opinion, super affordable. Now, as far as where you can purchase these at, you can get them online on Amazon, I believe, and then also you can get them on the Bdellium Tools website, which they do have free shipping over, I think it's over $20, so it's not a bad deal at all. And from time to time they do run promotions like 10 to 20% off, I believe. Just follow them on Instagram or sign up for their newsletter so that way you can know when they are having some discounts, because they're already so affordable and amazing. A discount will just be the icing on top, or the cherry on top. How does that go? I highly recommend them for personal use and also professional makeup artistry use if you need brushes for your kit or anything like that. And they do have a pro makeup artist discount program, so just check out their site to see if you're eligible for that. I do believe it's 40% off. And then before we jump into my brushes, I want to talk about the different lines of brushes that Bdellium Tools offers. They do offer a special effects line of brushes, which are very detail oriented brushes, very intricate and just for special effects makeup. I don't have any of those, so I can't speak to those, but I'm sure they're amazing. And then they also have the bamboo line, and they have 4 colors of brushes that you can choose from within the bamboo collection. They have pink, yellow, green, and purple, like a lavender purple. And those brushes, the handles are all made of bamboo, and they are synthetic bristles, and they're eco-friendly, I suppose. And then the 2 brushes that I have one of the bamboo pink brushes. I'm looking at it up there. It is a face brush, so it did get reviewed in that face brush video. But other than that, I have all the yellow handles and all the black handles. And so the yellow handles are from the Studio line, and that's going to be a little bit more affordable, just by a couple dollars per brush, compared to the black handle, which is the Maestro line. I do have a little printout that I made to tell you guys the price of the brush, but the prices that I'm going to be sharing with you are for the Studio line yellow handle Bob the Builder brush handles for this brush. And I believe that they have every brush that you can get in the Studio line. You can also get it in the Maestro line. So the main difference in the brushes are obviously the color and then the ferrule. The ferrule, if you're not familiar, is the part of the brush that holds the bristles to the handle. And so on the Studio line brushes, the yellow ones, it is an some aluminum mixture of metal, whereas the Maestro line, or the black handle one, that is going to be a nickel material. And they say that the nickel ones in the Maestro line will be longer lasting and just better quality. I honestly haven't seen a huge difference in the ones that I have between these, so I just say save yourself a couple bucks per brush and go with the Studio line if you don't mind the yellow handles. Other than those characteristics and differences, the bristles and everything else are the same between the Studio line and the Maestro line. I also want to shout out they do have travel brushes, and I have a couple different sets all into one belt, and you do get the traveling thing. You can buy them individually or in a set, and I love these. These are just so great to have for travel. I'm not going to go into these in detail just because I probably have the full-size ones that I'll talk about anyway, but just a great travel set. And the travel brushes, they're the same exact brush as the full-size, except the handle is shorter, as you would generally, you know, get with a travel brush. Alright, so moving along to the brushes and the review. The first 3 brushes I'm going to share with you, I have dupes, if you will, or very, very similar alternatives. The brushes to MAC brushes, which you will pay over double the price of what you're going to pay for Bdellium Tools. And I picked 3 brushes to really pare it down for you. 3 eye brushes that if you are new or if you're on a tight budget and you basically just need the bare minimum, in my opinion, to create a beautiful I like to follow along with a lot of different tutorials that are on YouTube, then these are the 3 that I would recommend. So the first one is a shader brush, and this is the 773, and this one is the shading blender, and this one is $10. And just a heads up, it only has the number on the brush, but online it has the name, like the description. I'm going to be sharing with you the description or the name of the brush, but just a heads up that it only does come with the number and not the actual like name or title. You know what I'm saying? So this one is amazing, and I'm going to compare it to the MAC 239, which is, besides the MAC 242, is my favorite like flat shader brush. So they're pretty much the same. And then on the side, they're very, very similar, and although the MAC 239 is a little bit more flat on the top and the Bdellium Tools is a little bit more rounded, you get the same application. So that is one of the must-haves that I would recommend for the bare minimum. And then next is like a crease color brush where you lay down the color in the crease. And so that one is, where are you? And then my second basic bare minimum brush would be this crease brush. This is called the blending brush number 776. It is $9. This is a great standard brush to just lay down color in your crease, and you can blend it a little bit as you lay it down as well. So this one I knew that I would use a lot, so I actually got it in the Studio line and the Maestro line because I wanted to see if there was a difference, and there honestly is not. Same exact thing. You just pay a little bit more and you get a different ferrule material. So yeah, that is the same, the same thing. And then I wanted to compare these to the MAC 217, which is probably one of my holy grail brushes. I mean, this shape in general is just so easy to get your crease color and set down the color and the pigment and then blend it a little bit at the same time. So this is the MAC 217 compared to the 776, and on the side they're pretty much the same. The MAC one is a little bit more pinched at the ferrule, but as far as application, you're gonna get the same results. And then my third essential basic bare minimum brush recommendation is this 785. This one is called the tapered blending brush. So this is essentially just that, very similar to the Sigma E40. If you watch Jaclyn Hill's tutorial, she'll always use a brush like this first to lay down that transition or blending color to help everything else blend just that much better. So this is what that one is going to do for you. This one is $8.50. Like, come on, that is such a good deal. And so I'm going to compare it to the MAC 224, and again, they're pretty much the same brush. The Bdellium Tools one has a little bit more of a point, but again, as far as application, not application, but as far as blending goes, well, and application, you're going to get the same result with both of these. So those are the 3 bare minimum basic brushes that I recommend, and like I said, you can get a great eyeshadow application. You can follow along with many different tutorials just using those brushes, those 3. But we all know that I love brushes, so the next brush is called the 783 small tapered blending brush. This one is $10. And this is a nice, amazing, almost a must-have brush for anybody with hooded eyes or small lid space, because it is smaller than most crease brushes. You can get in there and fake a higher crease and just get a little bit more precision than you could with a larger crease brush. So for example, this one was the 776. You can see how the tip and the tapered point is just a little bit more precise, so you can get a more custom, or not custom, but a more detailed look, which is pretty essential when you have small lid space to work with. So yes, I personally really love that one and use it all the time. Next, I have the 780 pencil brush. This one is $9. And this is a fantastic standard pencil brush. I will go ahead and compare it to the Sigma E30. Although they look, different in shape, and the Sigma one has a little bit more of a point to it, you still are gonna, like I've been saying, you're gonna get the same result. And I love a pencil brush for laying down like a medium brown color on the lower lash line and just smoking it out to just make the eye look more well-rounded and just bring the whole look together. So I really love that one. And next is the 781 Crease Brush. This is another amazing brush for hooded eyes or small lid space to work with, or small eye space to work with, or if you just want more of a detailed crease placement. This one is $10.50, and it's just that. It's like the perfect mini size crease brush to really lay down color. And let me compare that one to the 783. It's just a little bit shorter in size, but essentially the same shape with the shorter bristles. This is the 769 angled contour brush, and it is $10.50. Now this one is not a must-have in my opinion. I mean, I do like it, but it's just not a must-have. What I like to use this for is to apply brow bone highlight and then inner corner highlight. I do just like that shape in general, like an angled shadow brush in general, to lay down the product there and there. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one, because let me just show you. You can get the same exact application with just the regular angled brush like that. So for that reason, this one is not a must-have. I'm actually interested in to try other ways to use this. Like you could use it for highlight. I mean, you could do whatever you want. Every brush is what you make it. And then speaking of that one, that angled shadow brush, this is the 766 angled shadow brush. This is $8, and it's just a standard size, like a medium angled shadow brush. And again, like I told you, I love it for inner corner. See how it just fits in that little crevice so perfectly, to just hit that with an inner corner highlight and then a brow bone highlight. It's just perfect. Next is a brush that I haven't found a really great use for, and I don't personally love it that much, and I don't reach for it that much. This is the 767. It's called the Round Dome Blender, and it's $10, and it's just too big to lay down crease color in my crease, because I do have a smaller lid space, and it's just too big basically. So, and it's pretty stiff as well. It has a little bit of a tapered tip to it, but I mean, I'm sure this would be great for blending out concealer and other items, but as far as laying down crease color in the crease, how many times can I say crease? It's just not a must-have, bottom line. And then the other one is kind of the same story. This is the 768 Round Dome Shadow, and this one is $9. I'll just compare the size to that other one. So this one is smaller, and then I also compare it to a pencil brush. So the one I'm specifically talking about right now is the one in the middle, the black bristled one. So you can just get an idea. Now, if you really want like a grungy under eye smoked out look, you could take that and just run it under there with an eyeshadow and get a really smoked out look. But because I have small lids or small eyes, eye space and stuff, for me it's just a little too much. But if you have like beautiful big round eyes and you like to take a color under there, this one would be a great one for you. Next is the 774 Large Shading Brush, and this one is, where are you, $9. And to me, this is just a standard shadow brush. I wouldn't say it's a large size. It actually to me is a medium, but yeah, it's just a general shaded brush that is good for applying color all over the lid. That's what I use it for. And then I'll do this one next to compare that one that I just showed you. This is the 778, the Large Shadow Brush. This one is also $9, and essentially it is the same thing as the previous one I showed you, but a little bit bigger. So I don't know why they're both called large, because you can definitely see the size difference, but like I said, the same brush. And I love this kind of brush just to lay down color all over the entire eye area, from the lash line up under the brow. Just makes it super easy. And then this one's kind of in the same family, but it's a little bit smaller. This is the 777. It's just called the Shadow Brush. And this one is $8.50. And as a size comparison, I'll compare those last two. So this one right here on my right is the 778, 774 in the middle, and then the 777 is just a little bit smaller, but all basically the same shape of brush. And this is just great for more detailed eyelid work is what I use it for. And then kind of the last little guy in the same family is the 772 Small Shader Brush. which is the same thing but on a little bit smaller of a scale. And the small shader brush there is $8. Do you need all 4 shader brushes? No. I would just recommend maybe getting the big one if you like to just do an easy all over lid color. I like to do the all over lid color with that larger shader brush to set my eye primer, just to go in with a similar to my skin tone eyeshadow, just to set it in place, and then the additional colors that you add after that will just blend that much easier. So that's what I like the large shader brushes for. And then depending on your eyelid space, you could decide which size of like a shader brush to get. The next brush is the 765, the small angled shader brush. This is $9, and it's just a little shadow brush that has a little bit of an angle to it, and mine got dried kind of jacked up, so that's why some of the hairs are kind of flailing out. Let me compare this one to the other angled shader brush that I showed you. It's just a little bit smaller than the other shader, the angled shader that I showed you previously. The small angled shader is not a must-have, but going back, I feel like I'm so repetitive saying if you have small eyelid spaces to work with, or whatever, small eye space to work with, then the more detailed, smaller brushes are going to be better for you. They're going to just make it easier. So again, I like it for the inner corner highlight and then brow bone highlight, just to add a little bit at the top there and a little bit in the inner corner. Not a must-have for everybody, but for my small lid space peeps out there, it's a good one. This one is the 775 they call them Duet, but basically just means like a dual fiber shader brush, and this is $10. If you're not familiar with what dual fiber brushes or bristles mean, it's just 2 different types of bristles in one brush. So that's where you'll see the 2 different colors, and it just basically translates to a lighter, less pigmented application of whatever product you're using. I don't really see a lot of dual fiber eye brushes. I do see more face brushes, because if you have like a really pigmented blush, you can use a dual fiber brush and it will just apply a little bit less pigment, so it's easier to work with that way. But this one, I was intrigued by it because like I said, I don't see a lot of dual fiber eye brushes. But then I was like, what am I going to use it for? Like, I can just use a shadow brush, you know, but I usually want full pigment when I apply lid color or anything, you know what I mean? But I've been loving this to apply concealer around my lip line to touch up when I'm wearing liquid lipsticks, which are all the rage. So this is a great one for that. You can get really close, so it covers quite a bit of space, but it's just easy to work with, and it's just perfect for that's like what I've been using it for. In addition to that, it's also great to apply your cream eyeshadow base or your eye primer, like a MAC paint pot, just to apply it all over your eye like that if you don't like to use your fingers for that. So not a must-have, but actually it turns out to be a very well loved and used very often brush for me. This brush is number 779, and the name just, I don't know why, but the name of the brush cracks me up. It's called the Eye Whopper brush. I don't know why that's funny. Maybe because it's a sandwich, but it's a brush. This is $12, and this is just a really jumbo size, jumbo on the side, jumbo from that view, eyeshadow brush. And this is also a great brush to just apply that all over lid color. Basically, that's what I've been using it for. It is kind of densely packed, so it's not like my ultimate favorite all over shadow brush. In my opinion, not a must-have, and a little bit too dense and stiff for all over lid color. And again, this would be great for contouring. Brushes are tools. You are the artiste, so you can use them however you see fit, and that's the fun of it. If I buy a brush for a specific purpose and it doesn't work out for that, like this one, it just makes me be creative. So yeah, I think I'm going to use this as contour and see, you know, contour on my jawline there. This one is the 939 Slanted Detailer brush, and you'll notice that I have the black handle, so that's from the Maestro line. This same brush in the yellow handle is $12. This one is just like a chubby eyeshadow, all over eyeshadow, like jumbo size brush with an angle. Let me compare it to the Eye Whopper, so you can see they're kind of both that really chubby brush. As far as using this for eyeshadow or any eye makeup application, it's not a must-have just because its size, it is quite large. But if you just want to do that all over eye color, like I've talked about, this one is a good one for that. It's really soft, but it is more densely packed, so it's not as fluffy. Not that that is a bad thing, but what I want to use this one for is contour. I think it'd be so great for just like a really chiseled contour, like right up in there. It's like the perfect size. This is the 758 Large Smudger or Smudge Brush, and it's $9. Now this one, I just wanted to compare it to a Sigma brush. This is the Sigma Short Shader E20. So, and then compared to most smudge brushes that I'm familiar with, the Bdellium Tools one is a little bit longer. It's the same shape, but the bristles are just a little bit longer. So it's still really great for smoking out under the eye. But again, for me, I have to be careful just because I don't want it too smoky, because then it looks like it got whacked in the face or something, you know what I mean? So that's what I use it for, is that kind of work. You could also use this to press a darker color into the lash line for just definition, like an eyeshadow as an eyeliner. Yeah, you'll just see that because the bristles are a little bit longer than the Sigma one on the Bdellium Tools, it's just a little bit more, you know, wobbly, but still a good one. Any type of smudger brush is a good one to have in your collection. Not one of the top 3 brushes that you'll need or that you would need that I would recommend, but still a good one to have. And then another like little smudger brush. This is the 755 Smudge. Smudge is a funny word. This one is $8, and it's just a tiny little smudger brush. It's just pretty small compared to the one I just showed you. And I personally prefer this one for smoking out under the eye, or the pencil brush, because it's just smaller and easier to work with for my eye shape. So there is the pencil brush compared with the smudge. So both little small little brushes, but the smudge is smaller, so it would give you a more precise. I actually like to use this one for the outer portion of the lower lash line to even do a little bit darker of a color and just work it out there. That's what I like to use it for. This one is the 760 Liner Brow Brush. It is $8 and it's teensy tiny, and it's like a super flat shader, but it is just ever so slightly angled. And this was actually one of the first 3 Bdellium Tools brushes that I got, and I got this at IMATS, and I was like obsessed with it right away. It is so great for just pressing in a darker color on your lower lash line just to make it defined, but not using something in your waterline. If you have a really watery, runny waterline, that took me like 3 tries to say that, and you still want definition under there, this is a great tool to take a really dark eyeshadow and just press it into the roots of your lashes, and you can do that on your top lash line as well. So I really like it, and it's really a unique brush. I haven't seen much anything else like it, so I haven't used it for brows. I feel like it would take too long to, I don't know, I would just like a little bit larger of a brush for eyebrows, because that would take a long time to powder them in, like with a brow powder or even a pomade. Alright, so I have the last 2 brushes to share with you guys. They're both $8 and they're both eyeliner brushes. And specifically, I use these both for gel eyeliner, but I do prefer the smaller of the 2, and I'll tell you why. So the larger one here is the 710 eyeliner, just the eyeliner brush. Did I say they're $8 each? I don't know if I did. They're both $8. And then the skinny one is the 706 Fine Point Eyeliner Brush. So they're both great for gel eyeliner. You just dip it in there, you don't apply it. But I prefer the skinnier one just because I always do. I try to go for a thin eyeliner application, and I know that I'm not the only one. I know you guys feel me on this one, but you go for, oh, I'm just gonna do a really thin eyeliner, and all of a sudden, like, your eyeliner is an inch thick. So for that reason, I like to start small, and I like the skinnier of the 2, which was the 706. And I did want to compare this one to a MAC brush, the 210, the MAC 210 eyeliner brush. The MAC eyeliner brush is just ever so slightly bigger, just not very much so, you can see. But I like both of them, but obviously I'd rather pay $8 than, I'm sure this one's like $24 or something like that. Alright, so that wraps up the video. Those are all my eye brushes. If you made it until the end of this video, which I'm sure is so long, congratulations. Thanks for hanging out and seeing the brushes and my thoughts on them. And again, I will link the part 1 or the face brushes down below so you can check that out if you haven't. If you have any further questions or anything like that, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. I will have the brushes listed with the numbers and the names and the links to the specific brush down below, and I will put that in the order that I talked about them to make it hopefully more helpful for you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you're going to get any of these Bdellium Tools brushes, and let me know what other videos you would like to see coming up. So leave your requests below. As always, thank you so much for watching. If I haven't already said it, have a great day or night, and I'll see you later. Bye!